ball to third. Frazier gloves, throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed the nose. Oh, gosh. Oh, are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, I know it looks kind of wild right now. My camera is being absolutely a disgrace to technology, but I'm not going to delay this episode one bit, one iota. We're not going to let technology get in the way. I know I have a freeze cam of my face right there, but nonetheless, the Reds are in business right now. We are live, top of the ninth. I might be behind you because I'm streaming, but I got runner at third base. Nobody out, 3-2. Fairchild's got to get 90 feet to tie this game up, and Spencer Steer at the plate. I don't know how far ahead of you are of me, Nick, but where are you at?
Spencer Steer's about to take the first pitch here, so I'm right with you. Man, Stuart Fairchild just missed that home run
not
by
a strike, Nick.
This guy's been all over the place today.
I mean, how do you call that a strike? It's 4 inches inside, man.
Completely changes the entire at bat. Trace, at least it froze at a really good shot of you. I mean,
You think so?
Yeah, I think that's a good look. You know,
Well, if you say so. I'm just gonna have to live with it. I guess these cameras can't be self-sufficient off the USB that's providing the power. That seems odd, considering I've done this every episode. I need Spencer Steer to shorten up right here and just put the ball in play.
be nice if it was 2-1 instead of 1-2 right now.
That's true.
Kroger patch looks strong.
Well, at least it's white on gray. I'm okay with that, but that white on white's bad. Bad news. Come on, Spencer. That might get down. Get down. Get down.
Yes,
Get down.
sir. Yes, sir.
Fire me up, maybe.
Let's go. Oh, man.
I knew they had infield in. That's the problem with bringing your infield in. You had to. Not like they had a choice. Atlanta had to bring their infield in, but that's the price you pay.
Trace, there's still no one out here.
I'm aware. I'm aware. I'm also aware that my face is frozen. And you know what? I tell you what. If the Reds come back and win this game,
Jesus.
hey, I'm a superstitious guy, Nick. I'm gonna have to maybe just screenshot that face right there, and I'm just gonna stick that in there for the rest of the year.
We'll call it the rally face.
Oh, don't even
you know,
Adam.
You know who's up right now?
Yeah, I see that. What? Who is he hitting for? Benson. Okay.
Yeah, I guess a lefty. I think we're all good with this.
No, yeah, that makes sense. I'm all fine. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Oh boy. Oh,
That's a good pitch.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Hey, we're
If
we're
Newman hits one out of here, by the way, I mean, I'll lay off of him a little bit tonight.
we're somehow synced flawlessly here, Trace.
We are. I don't know how that worked, but maybe it's MLB TV. Maybe I don't know.
I'm watching DirecTV, so it's kind of
Oh.
wild that. Yeah.
You're on the pause game. Then you must have.
I didn't even pause it.
Ow.
It just did it today.
Fair enough. Come on, fellas. These are the games that you just wish there were so many other things that could have happened earlier in the game that you just wish you could have back. The biggest one's going to be the Stevenson block. I mean, that's going to be the one that the talk radios are going to be absolutely lit up for if they don't win this game. But just stay in the zone, Newman. That's a double play.
Well,
All right, Barrero, pick him up.
pick up Newman.
Pick him up. You've been doing it already. Pick him up again. Hopefully his back isn't sore tomorrow. Just hit one out of here. Also, shout out Will Benson. He finally hit a ball hard. I don't say finally. He did hit a ball hard. I mean, it's just deepest part of the park. That's a ball. That's a strike, but that's not a strike you usually get. You got it's just bad swing. I don't know, but Ohio State for the win, man. You got to take them. You got to take them that negative attitude somewhere else, brother. Oh. Damn. That'd have been a good swing in cricket. This dude's running it right down to the end of the pitch clock. It's just a bad. Not the best at bat I've ever seen.
Better than Newman.
Yeah, I mean, he put the ball in play. Give him his props. Good for him. Tell you what, this camera situation is going to bug me all night, but I'm just going to have to live with it. That's where we're at. All right, Nick. As soon as this game ends, for those that are obviously tuning in, we're going to watch the end of this with you, and we'll have some fun chatting about the game a little bit. I don't want to get into too much stuff during the game just because I'm sure that we will get sidetracked very quickly and easily. But we will probably, as soon as this game ends, run through a quick little intro again, just to make it easier on us from the podcast perspective, and then we'll come back and we'll get into all the things that you see currently on the J-Bar, and I have a strong suspicion and a strong feeling that there's probably going to be something that happens in this baseball game before it ends that we would probably want to talk about that's not on the J-Bar. So maybe we should have just left that last slot open, Nick. I know that we at first had San Martin and Stevenson on there together, and perhaps that was the sign to us just to leave it blank at the end, just because there's something left on the horizon. Diaz has to throw this inning. Obviously, he's coming in. Give us one more chance at an at-bat, hopefully. This is the type of stuff, though, that you're not supposed to win if you're the Cincinnati Reds. Doesn't mean we won't, though.
Yeah, this is not like a game that the Reds were gonna come out alive here. I mean, it's
Roger's asking if
good.
David Bell's going to get fired again this year. Well, he didn't get fired last year, so he's not going to get fired again.
And back-to-back night hitting comebacks, and we're worried about David Bell getting fired?
No, yeah, exactly. Like, here's my thought. My thought on the David Bell thing is, like, I mean, what has he done wrong? I mean, I guess you could argue that, I mean, I don't know. He brought in San Martin.
San Martin walked the left-handed batter. I mean,
he did, but you could argue. I don't know. I seen some Twitter folks getting a little upset about the fact that was one of Atlanta's most disciplined hitters, and San Martin has a tendency to not throw the ball in the zone, and he relies on guys chasing pitches. How true that is, I don't know. I really genuinely don't know. I'm not that deep into the analytics to know. But at the end of the day, he did his job. You want to get on anybody, let's block a damn baseball.
Olson's career OPS is almost 100 points lower against left-handed pitchers. So, I mean,
okay.
That's a tough sell for me to be upset about.
I wasn't trying to sell it, Nick, to be fair.
No. I'm with you. I'm glad to see they went with Diaz here.
Yeah, they have to. You don't have a choice. Like, you have to give yourself a chance to get another at bat. I mean, you worry about closing the game if you get a chance to close the game.
This always drove me nuts about Dusty.
Yeah, he would never bring in the closer until it was literally closing time.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it was like a game that went like 16 innings against the Cubs. Chapman was like the only reliever that didn't get used. It's like, what's the point?
Right.
Sam Hilliard, acquired from the Rockies. He is one of the fastest runners in baseball. Trace, it's about his best quality.
Yeah, well, let's see if he can steal first base. That's usually the problem with those guys.
You got to go after this guy, though. You can't.
He's going to get him. He's going to get him.
There it is. Blew him by. Are you behind me now?
No, I'm just checking YouTube. It's telling me that my stream is slower than usual. It's because I'm streaming a bunch of stuff right now. I mean, what do you want from me? I got only so much a man can do. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm glad he struck him out. I told you he was going to take care of him, man. I think positive during these situations. I'll tell you what, I used to think negative, like, oh gosh, when's the next thing going to happen? And it's like, oh, woe is me. Like, oh, this guy's only hit 5 home runs, but this here comes a 6th type thing. And then I got to the point where I just realized, like, that's just not fun. That's just it. They all count the same, Nick. It's a ball's a ball. A ball's a ball. Move on.
I like that he's giving the extra gas to Acuna.
Yeah, let's whiz one right behind his legs on the next one, and then we'll come back with that slider.
Whew.
Oh, that was a pitch he could have hit.
Ooh.
Got away with one. That's what I'm saying. Nick, you remember when when everyone's like, "Oh, he made one mistake and they made him pay for it." It's like, yeah, he just made a mistake right there, and he did.
Let's not make a second one. Oh, did he just get a violation?
Yeah, he got a violation. Let's just get back on the rubber. Let's go. We ain't worried about it.
I love that hand signal.
Yep. Let's run it back. Slider. See ya.
That was a good. That was a good pitch. That was a good pitch. That was a good pitch.
I'd throw it again. I know that the tendency might be to try to throw that fastball inside again, but I'm not taking a chance on Acuna just being ready and hitting that thing 400 feet. Throw it again. Throw a slider outside. Or fastball. Starting to get him to lean a little bit. I just don't know how.
Or he's setting him up. Acuna's setting him up.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think he's. I just don't know how accurate Diaz is going to be with this slider, but I would say if he could bury one inside, it would get him out. He'd be out right there. He's out. What'd I tell you? Call a strike, you.
Ooh. Oh, that hurt.
I gotta have that, man.
That was such a great pitch.
I'm throwing another slider. I know fastball, but I don't want him to hit it.
He went.
What'd I tell you? Throw it again.
He went. There we go. All right.
Acuna's ready for it. He didn't think that they had the marbles, maybe is the term I'll use tonight, that he was going to throw that. He's all dead red fastball. I like how Acuna asked the first base umpire, like, hey, ask him, yeah. Well, all right, see ya.
He's an awesome player. I love watching that guy play.
He's good.
He's probably, I don't know, top 5 like most feared hitters in like a situation like this.
Yeah.
That's a big out. That's a big out from Diaz.
Oh. All right, we can't fall in love with the slider now. Let's go. Got to get ahead of guys. Is it 2-0 already? I missed a pitch.
Yeah.
Take your eye off the screen for 1 second.
Oh.
Just gotta be around the zone. That's what I'm saying with him, though. Like, he just looked. He executed on all of his pitches the last at bat, and then he's just all over the joint.
Shoo.
That's
First
okay.
pitch was the only one close.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, that's not. You got Olsen up. I know that it's not like you are purposely walking the 2-hole to get to the 3-hole.
Yeah, Riley's a tough out, though.
He is, but it's right on right. You throw that slider against him, and it's not easy to hit, especially if you can spot it down in the zone.
Oh.
He's out. He's out. He's out. Jose Barrero catches baseballs. That's what he does. You see how he made that look kind of cool and fun?
Yeah, Newman would have dropped that. I mean,
I don't think Newman drops it, but
there's
Newman
no question about it.
Newman would have looked like the 13
All right.
U.
Does our J-Bar go to 10? Does it go to 10 innings? Have we tested this yet?
I don't know if we've tested or not.
Let's see.
I know my camera is just
it's
a struggle bus.
All right. We go to 10. Are we just going to ride this stream out if this goes like 15 innings?
Yeah. I got nothing to do.
Trace, you know what time it is? It is time for the Manfred Man presented by Betfred Sportsbook.
That's right. It is. Who's going out there for the Reds? Who made the last out? Barrero? No.
Yeah. So top of the order. Yeah. India, Friedel, Fraley. This is and you already got through the Braves top of the order, so
do you have
Braves have thrown they're probably their three best relievers already, so I don't Menor threw 20 pitches, so I doubt he's coming back out for another inning. Raisel Iglesias is on the shelf right now. Oh yeah, I mean just another big comeback for the Reds. I mean, back-to-back days looked pretty dire.
Yeah.
All right, who we got? Who we got on the Braves? You going Joe Jimenez here?
You're ahead of me by like, man.
I don't know. I haven't
you
seen
don't
yet.
know
I'm looking at their roster resource page. I think
we need to get David Bell some Pawnee water though. He's drinking that.
All right.
Gross. Don't even say the competitor's name. I like how I call the competitor too. By the way, it just happens to be like probably $1 billion company.
Bringing in a lefty to face India. That's some disrespect for.
Well, the opponent's average, Nick, to be fair, hitting .091 against him. So let's see what he's got.
OJ Bronco Steer, my new favorite. I tell you what, man, that Spencer Steer, I don't know if you could have had a better start to the season than he's had. He's really built a lot of confidence. These first, we had 2 weeks yet. We can have. Ew.
God, India, stay in the zone, man. You know what just happened right there? And I mentioned this I tweeted this during the game. He gets on the rubber so soon, and he's daring India to back out right here. He's trying to get him to disengage. He literally just stands there and just waits forever, and this time he didn't. That's not a strike.
Good. It's a good take.
It is a good take. But, like, I would do that in this situation. I really would. I would try to get him to disengage and then just get him uncomfortable. You're up 0-2. Just run that thing all the way down. He's doing it, man.
There it is. There it is.
Nice hit. Is he going to go? Is he going?
Yeah.
Is he going?
He's scoring. He's scoring with ease.
I don't know about ease, but I mean, I'll tell you one thing now. You got a guy with a little bit of speed out there.
All right, here comes a Friedel bunt, right? Put some pressure on the defense.
Yeah. I don't even mind a Butcher Boy play if they're going to try to crash hard.
Yeah. I want him to show at least.
Yeah, he's going to show. He's going to show.
4 bunt hits, only one hitter in baseball with 2. Oh, there it is. There it is. Hey.
Throw it away.
Yeah.
That's a good play.
I'm not a big sack bunt guy, but with Friedel's speed and, that's a big second run.
That's the right play.
I listened to Brian Kinney kind of did a study on sack bunts, and I know everyone really sack bunts are the devil, and I agree. Like in most
lefty on lefty, Rake Fraley. Watch this.
All right,
whatever. But go ahead, keep going. Study on the bunts.
But Kinney found that tie situations pretty much always a bad idea. Trailing, obviously, it's a really bad idea. But when you're up a run and you can add when you're up a run, or even when you're up 2 or 3 runs. That's when the sack bunt can really like your win probability. The math really checks out, because when you're up 2 runs, your win probability just goes up so much higher than 1 run. So it's actually, he concluded he thought it was worth the trade off, and
that might be why he doesn't. That might be why he doesn't face lefties a lot, huh? That's all right, but
hey, still got a shot here. We got Tyler Stevenson. This is a big spot for him. Make up that run you dropped.
I was gonna say that myself. This is a way to redeem yourself. Totally redeem yourself.
There you go.
Just the catcher even had the audacity to try to frame that. It's just hilarious to me. Such a good pitch.
He's been so inconsistent. Diaz didn't. That was the exact same pitch that Diaz
it was, but here's the difference. This is a lefty that came through the zone. Diaz is backdoored into the zone. That's the only difference. I agree with you, but I would say that's why.
Give me a robot umps.
Yeah. Well, it's so much easier to call that pitch a strike than it is Diaz's, just because Diaz has only touched the zone for the last half second, and that one was in the zone for a while until the very end. All right.
Evan, Trace's camera is malfunctioning. So we're just getting this lovely screenshot for now. So we are aware of the technical challenges this evening.
Right.
But we're powering through, because that's what we do here on Chatterbox Reds. We persevere.
Yeah, I wasn't going to sit around for 30 minutes trying to get my camera to work. I don't think that many people would give a rat's tail of seeing me anyway, so. Oh, that was a good pitch to hit. Missed it.
I got to remember to updating my bar, though. I'm struggling here.
No, you're fine. 2 outs. Yep.
I mean, you guys put all this hard work into it. Least I can do is, use it.
If I didn't have as much technical difficulties, I would put the Gamecast over there on the side, but I'm not pushing my luck tonight. They're 40 seconds. They're 40 seconds. Evan, how am I supposed to do that, man?
Evan, why don't you pause the YouTube stream for 45 seconds?
Yeah, Evan, pause the YouTube stream. Well, pause the YouTube stream for the bottom of the 10th. Who are we bringing out? Let's talk about it. Is Jabot available?
Jabot's pitched back-to-back days,
so he's not going to be available.
We got right switch left.
Right switch left. So really, it's going to be Alex Young. That's who it's going to be.
That would make sense.
Yep, it's going to
be unless you could sneak. Unless you could. No, it's they had a pinch hitter, so it's actually right switch right. So
okay, then maybe
I know want to go righty.
It's going to be Cruz, and I'm telling you right now, if he does not get this save, the phone dials, you want to talk about absolutely a bunch of people pissed off. Be ready. Is there anybody besides Cruz that should come in this situation?
Cruz threw 2 innings yesterday.
Okay, well, then that's not going to happen either.
The Law, Derek Law.
Derek Law, that's who it is then. We've gone through like 6 names, so we're probably going to get it right.
I think Derek Law is the only one left that didn't pitch yesterday other than Young.
Evan said he's not pausing his YouTube.
Where's Strickland when you need him?
Well, he got some big outs earlier, right?
Hunter Strickland got some big outs for Louisville yesterday. Huge outs.
The biggest.
I preserved that 8-1 deficit. Like a champ. All right. All right, here we go. 12 hits from the Redlegs. How about that?
Yeah, they just couldn't find a way to get the big hits when they needed them. Besides, obviously, the end of the game. But
I tell you what, Benson had 2 pretty good swings. That one that was a barrel. He just missed a home run. I think Sadek said he's probably right. In the summer, that probably is a home run. I thought he did put a couple really good swings together. I hope he has success. Yep, there it is.
Yeah,
The
Mr.
Law.
Mr. Law. Let's lay it down, my man. Do they have a bunch of weird puns yet for this guy? We got like the law firm, or what are people saying with them?
I mean, it's the Braves fought the Law and the Law won is what we're hoping for.
Sean Murphy. You know what's funny? Oh no. Oh no. Stay in the park. Unbelievable.
Wow.
You know what's unbelievable with Sean Murphy is that I used to go around and I did something called Prep Baseball Report, and I did it for years. And Sean Murphy was at an event in Dayton one time, and I'll tell you what, he just
went to Centerville, right?
Yeah, he was just a regular old player, man. He didn't look all that special. That's a good swing, guys. And I know that I know what's going to happen. I get it. People are going to be pissed off about the bullpen, but at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is you got to find a way to score some runs. And I know that they scored some runs in the end, but yeah, I don't know. Listen, Graham Ashcraft's a great pitcher, so that's tough. I don't know what else to say. It's a really good swing. I don't even know if it's really a bad pitch. Let me see it again.
It was down in the zone.
It's just not a terrible pitch, Nick.
Yeah, good swing, good player.
It's a really good swing by a really good player, and yeah, I mean, what else is there to say outside of that? All right, let's jump into it. I am going to quickly run this intro, and we are going to come off of that, and we are going to start this podcast. All right, Nick, we will jump into, obviously, a disappointing loss. Probably one we felt like we weren't going to win halfway through the game anyways, but at the end of the day, they had an opportunity. We will run through the box score recap in just a moment. A lot of things happened right there at the very end that probably we'll have to digest a little bit and be able to put that into some relative thought. I'll give you a minute on that. But again, just an overall disappointing loss with a bullpen that is going to add another loss to their resume. I know the storylines are going to be that the bullpen is not good and the bullpen can't ever hold a lead and they lead the league in losses, and all that stuff is true. I think before we get into the box score recap really quickly, I just don't know what else we're supposed to do with this bullpen, because I just don't know if we're really quite ready to make the proverbial leap over the hump and be competitive to play in playoff baseball. And I just don't want to go out and spend a bunch of resources on guys that might be able to help us win an extra 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games this year. And then all of a sudden, we don't go out and get guys in 2 years when we need them. So we've talked about this before in regards to ownership, investment, what the bullpen should look like. And at the end of the day, there's a couple things that I would point to in this game that could have gone differently, that the bullpen shouldn't have and couldn't have mattered. One is going to be you got to score some runs earlier in the game. You got to take advantage of a starting outing that Graham Ashcraft had. We did not do that at all. And then on top of that, we gave up a run, like it or not, on a Stevenson pass ball that just can't be a pass ball at the big league level. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but that cannot be a pass ball at the big league level under any circumstances. I know these guys are human. I get all that. But at the end of the day, if we're going to have 3 catchers, Nick, we probably need to figure out a way to utilize them in a little bit of a better manner. Your overall quick thoughts, and then we'll go through the box score recap.
Yeah, I mean, tough loss for the Reds in this one. I mean, I tell you what, they've been hella interesting last 3 games. Been some entertaining baseball, one way or the other. To the bullpen, I mean, look, Lucas Sims and Tony Santion should be here soon. You also have Luke Weaver joining the rotation, whether that, maybe forces Connor Overton to the bullpen. You also have some other guys that maybe could force Luis Sessa to the bullpen. So you're going to have some additional options that, I think can really help out this bullpen. Alexis Diaz has looked really, really good this year overall outside of the ninth inning, but I don't really fault him in his second inning of work. I think Ian Jabot has looked really good. I think Buck Farmer looked really good today, much better than he looked in his first couple outings. So I think there's a couple guys in there that that can be solid contributors. I'm not ready to give up on Derek Law either. It's a tough spot when you're coming in with a runner already on second base. But yeah, I mean, overall, look, it's another great comeback from the Reds. Another game where looked like it just wasn't going to go their way tonight, and they fought back. They forced extra innings, so there's definitely something to that. I definitely like the way this team competes and has good quality at bats late in the game.
Yeah, listen. Let's break this down, because I think at the end of the day, some people are going to sit here and say, "Oh, you guys are just you're homers and you're just these fearless optimists that are just blindly walking into this open abyss, and you just think it's always going to work out, and you guys are idiots. It's never going to get better, and the bullpen is what it is, and the ownership group doesn't want to spend any money." I will just remind people that you have to take, and I'm going to continue to do this because I think it's my duty to do this. You have to continue to take the positives with obviously the disappointment at the end. Graham Ashcraft, I tweeted this out earlier. It's like, that guy is a really good pitcher, man. He is somebody that you don't watch him and you don't at one point say, this guy's got some incredible pitches, man. He's like got stuff. This isn't a guy that's just like, working himself into games and then he's just making perfect pitches and that's why he's getting guys out. No, like, he has incredible stuff. And just so we all know, yes, my camera's frozen tonight. We know that. I don't want to get into that a whole bunch, but nonetheless, we're going to push on into the show. I don't know why my camera keeps dying on me, but we'll figure that out before the next show. So just bear with me. Hopefully you like my freeze frame there. But my main point is, again, tonight, some of the younger players are starting to feel like they not only are playing well, but maybe they belong. And on top of that, the top 3 guys, outside of Hunter Green, probably the only guy, Nick, that so far hasn't shown what we all are hoping for. And when you're throwing 102, 103 miles an hour every single time, usually you'll get a grace period with people and saying, okay, there's got to be a way this guy's going to be good, right? We'll find out. I think he's going to be, but again, I am disappointed. I am. It hurts. That sucks. What just happened sucks. Sean Murphy just put a dagger through a lot of our hearts. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of positive to take away from this baseball game. And this team is being competitive. This team's playing. They're playing hard. They're playing aggressive. And I'm not saying we should look around and say, hey, we got a bunch of moral victories. But what else do you want from a team that was 65 wins on an over-under sheet before the season started? Like, we have to keep that in mind a little bit. Tyler Stevenson, though, is probably my biggest disappointment in regards to defensive efficiency, and I don't think it's just because of that pass ball, Nick. Like, when I watch him catch and I watch some of these other big leaguers catch, even just receiving pitches and trying to get strikes that are borderline, I just don't know if he's a guy. And we'll see. I mean, he's a hell of a hitter. I'll let you give the opportunity to bring this up, but you think Stevenson is just such a higher value at catcher. I just asked the question, though, to you, Nick, like, at what point does that kind of just erode away if the defensive side isn't near where it needs to be from a league average standpoint?
I think maybe if you had aspirations of winning the NL Central this year, then maybe you could, look at moving him off of catcher. Um, but right now, I think this is a year of sorting, like we've talked every single day. So I think you want to give him a run at catcher. I don't think he was this bad last year. I mean, I know it was such a weird year where he was hurt so much and just could never really get in a rhythm. I wonder if maybe some of that's lingered into this season. So I want to see more of him. I'm not sugarcoating it. Yeah, he's looked really bad behind the plate. I agree with you, 100% on that. But I want to see Stevenson over the course of a full season. And even if that full season is only catching 60 games, I want to see what that really looks like before before we even consider a move like that. Because every piece of the Reds building the next competitive team, the next team that could win a National League pennant, win the NL Central. It is so much easier to build that team with Tyler Stevenson behind the plate instead of having to go in and go get another catcher. There's only a few good catchers in the game. Sean Murphy's one of them that we saw tonight.
Yeah, and I want to bring up something that Andrew's saying. I know Twitter's going probably hard in the paint right now. I've been well aware of what that blue bird can do after games. It's not pretty. And I'd also mention, like Andrew said, why don't we give Diaz another chance to go out in 2 innings? Like, listen, man, Andrew. I mean, with all due respect, they tried that the other day, and he got absolutely crucified for bringing Bell out there, or for bringing Diaz out there for 2 innings in a row. And he wasn't successful. He didn't look himself. There's no way, and I'm getting my days mixed up. There's no way he's going to do that like 2 days later, right? Like, that's just not even an option. Like at some point we can get on David Bell, and we will get on David Bell. He sucks at interviews. I'll continue to say that. He's like the worst. He's the worst. Like, I'll tell you this right now. If we were going to legit war, like, he's the last person I want leading my team into war. Like, oh, it's like, we're going to go out there, we're going to compete, and we're going to try really hard. And, it didn't go our way tonight. Tomorrow will be a better day. Maybe things are good. Like, that's why I don't like David Bell. But as far as, like, the X's and O's of this situation tonight, I don't know what more you could ask of the guy. Sometimes you just got to – you have got to find a way – as a player to make plays, and Sean Murphy, like it or not, made a play tonight. Like, he hit a good pitch. Derek Law made a good pitch. I mean, say whatever you want. I'll go back there and I'll look at the analytics on that pitch, and maybe I'll say I'm wrong later. But that was a good pitch. Sean Murphy hit it out of the park, right? David Bell decided not to bunt India, where you could argue that that's even an option. I'm not saying it's the right option, but it's an option. He didn't bunt India. They got a base hit. Barrero scored. Friedel's going to bunt. We all know that because Friedel might have bunt on his own, if we're being completely honest. And then it is what it is. Like, we didn't get a hit. Tyler Stevenson couldn't block a ball. Tyler Stevenson didn't get a hit in the top, what would have been the top of the 10th to give us a 2-run lead. These are all things that David Bell doesn't control. And at some point, we as a fan base need to realize, like, we need to ask a little bit more from our players too. Because Stevenson, and I'm not saying we should kill the guy. Like, he's one of our best players. He's our future. There's no doubt he's a professional hitter. But he was terrible tonight, if you want to get after. Like, in regards to the late innings, would you say who was a bigger disappointment, David Bell or Tyler Stevenson?
Tyler Stevenson, no question. I mean, Alexis Diaz threw 17 pitches tonight. You can't just blow this guy's arm out in April. He got you the 3 tougher outs. He got you through Austin Riley, through the best of the Braves lineup, and you got to go to your other guys. You got to use those other guys. Look, Derek Law had a great spring training. Derek Law had a great second half last year. I know he's had a couple bad games, but you have to see what this guy has. So yeah, I have no problem at all with David Bell tonight. I don't want them doing anything that jeopardizes Alexis Diaz's health. You can't run your closer out there 2 innings over and over again. You just can't. The Philly, that situation was different because he pitched the 8th inning with so much ease. That was a totally different situation tonight. He had to work tonight. He walked a batter. He didn't just mow down the side. So yeah, I think you have to trust the other guys. Didn't work out tonight, but I think there's a lot of positives to take away. and mostly it's Graham Ashcraft. That's the biggest storyline to me. I don't want to forget that because of a walk off that Derek Lowe allowed.
Yeah, so I'll do a quick box score recap for everybody. The Reds are going to lose this game 5-4 to the Atlanta Braves. Sean Murphy hit a walk-off 2-run bomb. If you're interested in the rest of the game, we'll probably talk through it as this podcast goes on. But I don't really want to spend too much time on the box score recap. I will say that Barrero got 2 hits, but outside of that, let's keep it moving. Graham Ashcraft, I said it at the start of this whole situation. I think, again, you want to try to find the positives. I guess I would ask the chat, as the chat's popping off right now, and this is why we do this. What would we prefer to have tonight? And I know this is a really terrible, probably predicament to put you in, but let's say Graham Ashcraft goes out and he throws 4 innings and gives up 5 runs, and somehow the Reds win 12-11 tonight. Are we super excited that's where we're at, or are you happy that Graham Ashcraft continues to look like a guy that is going to anchor this starting rotation perhaps going into next year and then obviously the year after, to where this team can genuinely try to go and win something? This year, it is what it is, man. I mean, we're going to compete, we're going to be here every night, and we're going to try like hell to win. But if I need to remind everybody every single podcast that that's not really, at the end of the day, probably what we should be focused on, then it's going to be a long year for all of us. So Graham Ashcraft, what can I say? I think this guy has as good a stuff as almost anybody besides maybe Lodolo. Lodolo is pretty special, but I don't know. I've said it before. I think Graham Ashcraft is he one of those guys that might be the best? Am I being stupid by saying he might be the best of the 3? Is that wild to say?
I think he's got the possibility. I don't know why not. The guy throws 99-mile-an-hour cutters. I mean,
that cutter moves, dude. That cutter moves, Nick.
Yeah, I mean that's some pretty legit talent there. I meant to say this actually the other night. I tell you what, though, when you're talking about the top 3 starting pitchers that the Reds have, if there was one guy that was in last place right now, you'd want it to be Hunter Green. He's the youngest guy. He's the guy that's, not as polished. Graham Ashcraft really grinded through a minor league career. Nick Lodolo, of course, had a very decorated college career at TCU. The fact that these 2 guys right now look the best, and Hunter Green hasn't figured everything out yet, I think that's a wonderful spot to be in with these 3 starting pitchers. But yeah, Graham Ashcraft, the line tonight was deceiving. 6 hits, or 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. That second earned run shouldn't have been an earned run. That was a really garbage official score. But Braves expected batting average against Ashcraft tonight just a tick over 200. Only had 5 hard hit balls against him. Like I said, his cutter was hitting 99, 11 swing and misses. This start to Graham Ashcraft, and he had a great spring too. That he's just really kind of jumped right into the season. I don't think you can say enough good things about Graham Ashcraft, and the fact that he's doing it this early in the season and been this dominant, just I think really bodes well for the Reds, overall future.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of going through the chat. If you guys got any topics you want to talk about or any questions, obviously fire them away, and we'll continue. You put in there multi-hit game with Barrero. Listen, I know I went on a little bit of a tirade yesterday about this, and it just because he got 2 hits tonight, I don't think I'm justified. And if he'd have went 0 for 4, I don't think I'm justified. That's not what I'm getting at with this whole Barrero thing. I'm not even saying I'm like the biggest advocate for Barrero in regards to thinking he's going to be a superstar or a player that we're going to rely on for the next 10 years. That's not what my rant was really about. My rant was more about the fact that I want to know what I have in him. I want to give him every opportunity that you could possibly have. I want to run him out there for so long that it's impossible for us not to have a strong opinion of him one way or the other, whether that's at the All-Star break or whether it's after the All-Star break. I could care less. I just don't want to see Newman because I don't think he's a part of the future. And not only do I not think he's a part of the future, I don't even think the guy's better than Barrero. Like, if you want to get down to it, when I watch the games, I think Barrero's just as good of a player, if not better. So it is what it is. I'm not going to go down that path again tonight. I just think that Barrero deserves every opportunity, and I hope he continues to get at bats on a regular basis, and we'll see how that ends up going. But it is positive. I am happy to see that Barrero got a couple hits because there was a few games, Nick, where he hit the ball incredibly hard, and he had no hits to show for it. And tonight, I haven't got a chance to look at Baseball Savant, but I'm assuming at least on one of the hits that I had seen, he didn't hit it incredibly hard.
One hard hit ball, but yeah, really nice night for Barrero. He looks so cool out there at shortstop too. So yeah, I'm with you, Trace. Look, I want Jose Barrero to succeed. That's just a huge bonus to the Reds. If Jose Barrero can be a league average player, I'm not even talking a top 20 prospect like he was a couple years ago. If he could be a league average shortstop, that's a really, really quality player for the Reds and really helps a lot of things about. Trace, I wanted to talk about a couple other guys tonight. Jonathan India, 4 hard hit balls, 3 hits. He had a really, really good night offensively. Jake Fraley, another big time hit. That's just what the guy does. How about Stuart Fairchild? He's had a couple big pinch hits. That was the ball that he hit that was almost a homer. It was a barrel. I tell you what, Stuart Fairchild has looked really good in that platoon role and then that pinch hitting role that he's been in. And then I see Will Benson getting crushed tonight, and he had 2 hard hit balls. Like according to Statcast, the last one was a barrel. I mean that ball was crushed. It died in center field. I feel like Benson needs a little bit of a break tonight. I think he's put a couple better swings out there. He's probably is still the odd man out, but I thought it was a positive night for Will Benson. What'd you think about Benson tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're saying is fair. I just think when a guy's hitting 056, Nick, it's hard to defend him. I mean, and and I'm not saying that I don't think either crowd's really wrong, right? I think that it's somewhere in the middle. At the end of the day, you got to produce, you got to find a way to get a hit, and you can hit as many balls, quote unquote, hard as you want. But if you don't produce and they don't lead to runs and they don't lead to getting on base, at the end of the day, the fan base is not going to be happy, and I don't know if they should be. I mean, at the end of the day, he's genuinely hitting 056. So he did hit a ball really hard that was in deep center field that you keep mentioning. And listen, if maybe he gets under that ball just a smidge more, the launch angle, instead of it being 26 degrees, it's 29 degrees. He's a hero tonight, and we're talking about how great of a hit, how great of a bounce back game he had. But at the end of the day, this is professional sports. You get judged based off of your output, and his output has not been very good, like it or not. And I would also say something that Brian put in the chat as well that might be fair with Benson. It's not like his swing looks like it's not like it's a very fluid, repeatable swing where you're like, oh man, he kind of looks like a Tyler Stevenson up there. He kind of reminds me of maybe Spencer Steer, where it's like he's very polished in the box. He's just having some bad luck. Nah, I mean he might end up being a good player. I'm not out on him. I'm just saying that he does look like a kind of a wild swinger, and to your point, he does strike out a lot. So if he's putting the ball in play, Nick, he's got to hit it hard because he just doesn't put the ball in play a lot, right? Is that fair to say, or what? I mean, your overall thought on that?
Yeah, I mean that's just going to be part of his game. He's going to strike out a lot, so you have to accept that piece of it. But man, when he does hit the ball, he can hit the ball really hard. I think that the Great American Ballpark's a park that he could really thrive in if he's able to, make a little bit more contact. I just don't feel like tonight's the night to kill the guy.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought he had maybe his best game of the season, at least, with the swings that he took. So like, we got to give the guy a little bit of a break tonight, at least. Come back tomorrow. He'll probably go over 3. He'll probably strike out all 3 times, and then we can go all out of that. I'm just saying, I think tonight, let's give Will a little bit of a pass. But I do think, Trace, the guys we shouldn't give a pass is the Reaver Stevenson. That was the one spot of the game that if you want to be super critical of, it's that, right?
Say it one more time. I'm reading some questions through the chat. Sorry.
No, I was saying if there's one thing to look at this game and that I think to give you the most negative taste in your mouth, it was the combination of Reaver San Martin walking the left-handed batter and being wild, and then Stevenson dropping that ball that was technically a wild pitch that
They called that a wild pitch, Nick.
They called it a wild pitch.
This
and
is
that
unbelievable.
That cost Graham Ashcraft a second earned run.
Nah, they're going to change that. They're going to change that. I tell you what, there's been, and I know Reed Mouse is a catcher, and the other day, on opening day, he went back and looked at a pitch that I think that Stevenson wasn't able to catch, and he's like, oh, no, that's not on Stevenson. I mean, if that ball tonight isn't on Stevenson, then stop even having pass balls. They shouldn't even exist. Every pitch in the world's a wild pitch at this point. Like, that ball gets blocked, and you think I'm trying to be facetious and funny. I'm not. That ball gets blocked. If there's 100 top prospects in high school that play catcher, 98 out of 100 of them are blocking that ball tonight. High school catchers. That's how bad that was. It was abysmal. I don't know how bad I got to say it was. Like, it was genuinely horrific.
Yeah, that's a ball you have to block in that situation with the runner on third base. You're already down a run. I mean, that's just when you have to stop it. And Reaver didn't do him any favors. Reaver was all over the place. So Reaver deserves maybe a little bit of the blame, but yeah, I mean, that's a ball Tyler Stevenson. If you're going to be a big league catcher, you've got to knock that ball down.
And as much as you go ahead, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say, much as you got on Reaver a little bit, though. I mean, I know he walked the lefty on 4 pitches. That was his one job. If you want to say, like, you had one job, that was his one job. But he to be fair, got out of it. Like, he got the next guy out, Nick.
Yeah, but that's not a recipe for success, because the next guy is might be one of the top 5 hitters in baseball against left-handed pitchers.
All I'm saying is he got the next guy out. I'm not saying that he did exactly what he was brought in to do, Nick, but he got the next guy out.
I think over the course of a full season, though, if Reaver San Martin, David Bell has strategically tried to use San Martin in spots where he can face either like just one left-handed batter to get out of an inning, or just a couple. Because Reaver San Martin's splits are really bad, lefty righty. I'm just saying, if you're coming in to get the lefty out and you walk him on 4 or 5 pitches, whatever it was, that should get you sent to the minors, because that's not a recipe for success all year. It worked tonight. He kind of.
It did work. I mean, to be fair to you, it did. I get your point, and it's valid, 100%. His job was to come in to get the lefty, walk the guy on 4 straight pitches, and they weren't even competitive. But it reminds me of a guy taking a really bad 3-point shot in basketball, and he got his own rebound, Nick. Like, at some point, you're like, that's a horrible shot, but you did get your own rebound, and you kicked it back out, and we reset, and we're running the offense again, and we scored on the possession. All right.
That's a hell of an analogy.
That's what it was. Like it or not, he didn't do his initial job right, but he eventually got it right. Stevenson's just got to be better. Winning run. You have a winning run ? Was that the last? That was the last. That was the last thing.
I'm on the fly here. I was hoping it was going to be.
I know.
I was hoping it was going to be India driving in the winning run.
I think we all need to agree that Sean Murphy just made a good swing, though. I mean, I don't really want to blame Derek Law, because I think he made a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Murphy's one of the best catchers in the game. He had a great swing. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. We move on.
What are we going to do with this catcher situation? We got 3 catchers, Nick. You told me yesterday we were fine. We were good. We're going to keep them all. And then we got Tyler Stevenson catching. I don't know. How many games has he caught? 5?
He's caught a lot so far for a guy that was only supposed to catch 60 games this year. Again, I think that the 3 catchers is a 162 game move. I didn't see a spot tonight where I wish we had another batter instead of Luke Malley. Like, he's just sitting on the end of the bench. He's buying his time for one of these guys to get hurt. The Reds had so many catcher injuries. They want to have legit big league catchers. They don't want to be claiming catchers off the waiver wire like they did all last year. When you have all these young pitchers, I think they want to have guys that they feel can help them develop. So I'm not gonna lose any sleep. I'm not gonna be upset about having a third catcher on the roster if that's the way the Reds choose to do it. Um, and I think when we get into July and one of these guys are hurt, then you're gonna see why the Reds did this. It's so they're not calling up, no disrespect, Chucky Robinson.
Yeah, I think right now there's a little bit of a debate going on with Stevenson. Listen, Stevenson's one of our foundational players of this franchise. Let's make no two bones about it. Like, the guy is one of the most complete hitters that we have and that we've honestly had in a while in this franchise. So it all comes down to whether or not he can handle it at the blocking position. I want to give you an opportunity, Nick, to put it on the tee here just really quickly as to why he's so valuable at the catcher position. There's people that are obviously saying, hey, send him, put him in a DH position. Maybe you could argue that first base is an opportunity if Joey Votto isn't going to be the same guy he was. But your overall quick thoughts on just the fact that if he's able to catch, and I've not been proven that he can, so to be fair, I don't know if I'm all in on this because I just don't know if he's a good enough catcher to where I think that that's the guy I want behind the plate in the most meaningful situations when we're trying to play for a pennant. However, to your point that you've brought up to me before, you think that he just has incredible value behind the plate.
Yeah, certainly. If he proves he can't be good enough defensively, then that's an entirely different conversation. So I'm with the caveat that he can be at least decent enough to where he's not a liability behind the plate. If he's there, then I mean we're talking Tyler Stevenson is an elite hitting catcher, one of the top 3 maybe in the game. You move him to first base, he is an average hitting first baseman. I'm sorry, I hate to be negative on that, but first basemen across baseball hit like Matt Olson. They hit like Austin Riley, who plays first base when he's not at third base. He would not be anything special at first base. You have guys like Christian Encarnacion Strand that you can play at first base that could, I think potentially be a bigger masher than Tyler Stevenson. Tyler Stevenson is just this guy that I feel like in Reds country, he was so underrated when it was him and Tucker Barnhart. I don't understand why he was the second fiddle. But now I kind of feel like people have maybe put him up a little bit too high as a hitter, thinking that he could be a great hitting first baseman, because I just don't see enough power for him to be anything other than an average hitting first baseman.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, your point still stands. If he gets moved to first base or he becomes a DH, he becomes a relatively average player when you look at the rest of the league. If he's at the catcher position, he's then an above average player, if not one of the best players at his position in the league. So we guess all have to hope collectively that, one, he can stay healthy, and two, he gets a lot better behind the plate. And I think these guys are young enough in their careers where they can get better. I think that's something that maybe is the most underrated thing that we possibly look over when we just see these guys when they initially come up, is we're just like, oh, well, this is who he is and this is who he will always be. You'd like to think that some of these guys can continue to get better and better and better, and next thing you know, in 3 or 4 years, maybe Tyler Stevenson is a good defensive catcher. It all comes down to philosophy too. The whole one knee thing for me, for my money, I think that it makes sense when there's nobody on, but when the tying runs on third base or the go-ahead runs on third base, I just don't believe in the knee thing, because you're not that mobile. You're just not. You're susceptible to being able to not be able to get lateral movement, and you got to know when you can go on one knee and when you can't. And again, this is somebody that I didn't play the catcher position, but I played a long time, and I just watch him, and sometimes I feel like there's a lack of mobility from time to time from Stevenson. But at the end of the day, I've not seen him enough, to be fair, Nick. I've not seen him enough. There's not enough of a sample size for me to say this is what I believe in wholeheartedly. So let's just give him a little bit of time. Remember that we're playing meaningful, competitive baseball right now. It's not like we're getting the brakes beat off of us every night and we're 3-14 already or something along those lines. Obviously, we haven't played that many games, but you get my point. Playing some good teams too. I mean, I know the Phillies were struggling when we went into Philly. Atlanta is who they are. They're the favorite to win the National League. So they're not going to be easy to go into Atlanta and probably even win the series. Not to say that I'm hoping we don't get swept is the goal, but in all honesty, if we can find a way to scratch out a win there, move on to the next series, I'd probably take it. So it is what it is. I don't see any more other questions from the chat's perspective. Nick, do you want to run us through tomorrow's starters?
Yeah, just one final thought before we get to that. Graham Ashcraft. Let's revel in the performance that he gave tonight and in his first 2 starts of the season, coupled with Nick Lodolo. I mean, that's the stuff that really, really matters, at least to me right now. Matters a hell of a lot more than wins and losses. These 2 guys are pitching lights out, and that's my takeaway from the night is Graham Ashcraft, and I just cannot believe how far he has come from a guy that he was not in the opening day rotation last season. He started the year in AAA. Man, he's come so far so quick. So that's the takeaway. That's the building block, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Let's get out of Atlanta with at least 1 win. That would be nice. Tomorrow? Oh, go ahead, Trace. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know that we have a tough schedule coming up. It is what it is, but I'll tell you this right now. I know everyone's scared of the Rays. I actually am looking forward to playing the Rays because they're due to lose. This is Major League Baseball, guys. We know how this goes. I mean, I hope the Rays are undefeated when they come to town. That's genuinely. I mean that sincerely. I hope they're as hot as a firecracker, and then they run into the. I don't know how the rotation holds up, but I hope they run into the big 3 and we just sweep them. So I think that's what's going to happen. I'm going to
100%. I think the Reds. I think the Reds swept the Rays last year.
Yeah, so sorry, but the Rays aren't. They have a problem with the Reds. It is what it is. It's science. All right, go ahead and run us through the starters. Looks like we only got one guy that we know is going to be on the mound tomorrow, Nick, and that is.
Well, it's Luis Cessa. Be his first career start against the Braves. Career 4.82 ERA against the Braves. However, the current Braves hitters only have a 471 OPS against Cessa in his career, so he has pitched pretty well against them. The Braves are actually throwing Kyle Wright. They haven't officially announced this yet, which is why I can't get you a pretty-looking graphic. Wright had been dealing with right shoulder soreness, but he did pitch in AAA. His rehab start did not go well. 5 earned runs in 6 innings. Had a 9.45 ERA in spring training, but this is a really good pitcher. Last year, 21-5 with a 3.19 ERA. So hopefully you're getting Kyle Wright at the right time, and the Reds can get out of can get back on the win column tomorrow.
That is right. All right, it's my part of the show to do my job. As always, if you have any interest in watching Off the Bench tomorrow morning, Tom Brennan is live from 10 a.m. till noon every day. Usually talks about a lot of Cincinnati sports. And then, as always, the most important thing, as we say on this show every single time, please tell us somebody. At this point, you know what? We got a lot of people in here that are loyal listeners to this, and we appreciate you. We like seeing your names in the chat. We like it is. It's all love. But my main question or my main ask to you is just tell one other person to come and join us on this show. We're going to be here every single night, and most importantly, we're going to find a way to continue to be optimistic, and we will survive the day, everybody. But tell a friend, bring a friend. Do me a favor, and we'll see you tomorrow. Better than ever. Go listen to the podcast. Download it, rate it, review it, and go Reds.